Hello and welcome to the May 16, 2023 Planning Commission meeting. I need approval of the minutes for the April 11, 2023 regular meeting.
So moved.
Support.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Same sign, opposed? None? And we also need to have approval for the April 25, 2023 study session.
So moved.
Support.
All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed, same sign. Communications from the audience for items that are not listed as a public hearing on the agenda can come forward at this time. All items with an asterisk next to it, you will have an opportunity to speak on those. But otherwise, you can come forward on any other issue. All right. Old business, 820 East 16th Street, site plan request for 9 multifamily buildings and special land use request to exceed the maximum building height of Building C. Applicant is Clay Sheets.
I don't think we have anybody here for
I do not think so.
from the applicant.
So Steve, you can say a few words on that
Yeah,
one.
give you just a little bit. So we are recommending that we table the project again. Developer is still working out some issues with the wetlands on the site. So we tabled it at our last meeting with some transportation, some traffic study. So that hasn't been completed either while they pull together their the wetland issues that they're dealing with. So we're hopeful that we'll have that to you and ready for the June meeting. But it does seem to be something that is moving target right now. So we're asking that we table it again until the June meeting.
The date on the June meeting would be the 13th, correct?
Correct.
Okay.
A quick question.
Yes.
Did we need to untable that before we started?
Well, we technically postponed it at the last meeting, so I think we had a little bit of that discussion.
Yes, we did.
And
Okay.
I guess I'm suggesting tabling it this time because we just don't know when it might be ready to come back.
So table it for June 13, and then we'll see if it comes back to the Planning
Yeah.
Commission.
The question, should we not just postpone it again?
Well, I guess
What would the difference be, I
What
guess
if
is
we-
the question.
I think
I
we,
think that's why we decided to postpone it last time, for that same reason, that,
yeah, I guess it was my understanding we decided to postpone it because we knew it was we wanted it to come back to this meeting where tabling it
well, it doesn't have to come back till it gets untabled?
until they
Right.
get these issues resolved.
So it'd be
At
more of
least-
like tabling it indefinitely versus tabling it till the next meeting,
Yeah.
essentially, until they're ready to come
Right.
back for an
Right.
application.
Okay.
I'm hopeful that we'll be back in June.
Sure. Yep.
Okay, just thought we
We
should have
can,
that
we can
conversation.
table it to June 13 if anyone feels inclined. I do not make motions, so. All right, is your mic on?
I support,
I move we table the motion.
and I'd support that.
All right,
And I'm not putting a date on it, I'm just tabling it.
Yeah.
okay. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. All right. New business, 350 South River Avenue, yard setback waiver request for a 3-unit residential apartment building. Applicant is Corey Sandwick on behalf of Ladder Homes. You may come forward at this time.
Hi, thank you for hearing this tonight. I'm Corey Sandwick. I'm a licensed architect working with Rick Van Til, who's the executive director for Ladder Homes. We are working on a 3-unit apartment building for Ladder Homes participants that can live there in the home. We're asking for a reduction in the side yard setback because of the width of the lot. Looking at reducing it to 6 feet instead of 15 feet. And the zoning on the lot is the FM River, Michigan. And we're complying with all other aspects of that zoning ordinance. There, we have a couple of photos of the rendering of what the house would look like. It would be 3 units that are 570 square feet each with a shared circulation on the right-hand side of the building.
Can you speak a little bit as to why you would need a change in the setback?
We would need a change in the setback because the lot width is 44 feet. So if we include a driveway for parking on one side and maintain that 15 feet on the other, we would only have a house that would be 14 feet. And we felt like that didn't fit within the character of the rest of the street facade. So we were trying to find a way to compromise. It is 6 feet on the south side, which the neighboring property does have a driveway on the north side of their property, so we still have approximately 13 feet between the two buildings on that side, so we felt like it was a good organization.
Okay, thank you.
Happy to answer any other
Yes.
questions as well.
Steve?
Maybe just a couple of comments really quick. You've already touched on that side yard setback. So in your packet, you do have the standards for the waiver. There's actually 2 options. They either meet one of those 3, or you meet both of that second option. So you can see I put some comments in both. So at least my opinion was they are eligible for this waiver. I feel like they meet actually both of those options. So in terms of, why they need that, we have those standards in there, so I guess I'm just making sure everybody is aware of those. That's really the criteria we should be using about whether or not to allow for the waiver, which staff is suggesting to grant.
Okay.
And if it wasn't on river, it would, typical traditional residential is a total of 15, is it not?
So in the TNR,
TRED, yeah.
it is 15.
But a total of 15, right, with a minimum of 5 or something, or no?
No, 15.
Per side?
The TNR, for instance, has a minimum of side yard 5 feet.
Yeah,
5
so
feet.
that's why, this wasn't so
5
unusual, because
Yeah.
it was a total of 15 with a minimum of 5.
So now I think in the new Udo, it's just a minimum of 5 for the side yard in TNR.
Right,
Right.
So I'm saying, and that's right around the corner. So,
Mhm.
And if you,
like it's-
and I think it's helpful, you look at the existing image that they have there, very consistent with what is out there.
Right.
In terms of the side yard, in terms of the front yard, all of that, so very consistent. And so we have a bigger setback in Udo now with the ability to do the waiver. So it kind of gets you to a smaller setback based on the site.
Mhm.
So, long answer.
We got it figured out. That's okay. Any questions for the applicant?
Nope.
No?
Looks good.
Thank you.
Thank you.
At this time, I will open a public hearing on this item. If you'd like to speak on this, you can come forward at this time. Just state your name and address for the record, and you have up to 5 minutes.
I'm Katie Miller. I am the owner to the north of this project site, so 346 South River. I'm excited for what they're doing. I'm in support of it. It's not fun to live next to a construction site, but I love their mission, and I'm looking forward to this. So thanks for hearing them out.
Yeah,
Thank you. Anyone else to speak on this item? No? Okay, I will close the public hearing. Any comments from commission members?
I think it looks great.
Yeah?
Yeah.
It'll blend well with the other houses in that area. And
Mhm.
it's just a dirt lot right now,
Yes,
so
it is.
it's definitely an improvement
Mm-hmm.
and a great mission.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Fits in well with the other homes in that area.
Yeah.
I live right around the corner, and yeah, the lots on that part of River are a little more, they're a lot shorter and more narrow.
Mhm.
So I think that they did a good job trying to fit that in.
So if you're ready, I will move to approve the site plan and side yard setback waiver for this new three.
We're ready for anything, Dave.
I'm making that motion as we speak.
There you go.
All right.
I'll support it.
So,
Is that what you need, Steve?
Yep.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Unanimous. All right. Thank you for coming in. Next item under new business is 1033 and 1055 Lincoln Avenue, rezoning and site plan request. Applicant is Come and Go LC. Steve's not looking at me, so I'm gonna have the applicant come up here and speak on this item here.
Yep. Jamie Antonevich with Atwell, the civil engineer representing Come and Go. As noted, vehicle fueling with convenience items, prepared food. I understand you're familiar with the location up the road that came through here. As briefly touched on earlier, we went through the Board of Appeals as a step to get the access in the location that is presented. Part of closing that loop is the rezoning. That is part of the request today, to get that zoning to match with the zoning of the commercial property, to allow that drive to align, which is the preferred location based on city traffic and MDOT. We did review the staff report. We know there's a request to add, screening fence on the south side. I think we're open to that, and we can work on the extent and design of that as we move forward, whether it's after approval or with staff. And I guess if there's any additional questions, I'm open to address whatever you may have.
Planning Commission have any questions?
Yeah, I'm wondering about the, I noticed in the staff report, it's being recommended that you change the lighting plan to lower the light levels.
Mhm.
So I wonder if you can, I'm just thinking about the residential homes and how the lighting will affect those residential homes to the south. Can you give me a picture of that?
Yeah, so we have amended that, sent it yesterday, to meet the maximum standard for the city. There are, there's screening and light levels, basically zero at the lot line, based on how it's designed. But, and the canopy's on the north side of the building.
Okay.
So, that will provide some additional screening for the light from the canopy itself.
Okay.
Is this a 24-hour?
Yep, that's their intent, always 24-hour,
Okay.
correct.
And when you get deliveries, where would they be delivering from? On the back side of the building?
Correct, yep, so from the initial submittal, we did make some revisions to move the drive back from that property line and allow, a bit of buffer there between the residential. But yeah, the typical deliveries would be to the rear of the building for, the typical products. The fuel truck will be where the tanks are, which is further away on the north side of the property.
Okay. And you're continuing the sidewalk on that area?
Correct, correct, yep.
Can you give me an estimate of how many cars go through one of your gas stations in a 24-hour period?
I don't have a good number. I have some, I might have to reference that. It's in the reports, I just don't have it in front of me as far as, what we would typically expect. I do know typically 75% is traffic that's going by anyway. They're just, stopping. I'm sure that, or I do know it varies, morning, afternoons, higher.
Sure.
The overnights, I would have to, if that's a concern, I would have to look at what those numbers would look like.
And your deliveries are gonna happen early in the morning too? right?
Correct, yeah, that would typically try to not coincide with the heavy traffic
Yeah.
period. So either earlier or, just after the rush, those are the typical periods that we would see.
So you did say you are looking at a fence line or something along that south edge?
Yeah,
as a
we,
buffer?
with that being common in the staff report, we
Yeah.
will add that into the
Okay.
plan.
Any other questions? No? Thank you.
Yep.
Steve, what is the setback requirement for this project to the homes?
So that's a good question. Let's see here. 25 feet. You can kind of see that dashed line would be the required setback to the south. Do you see it on there?
Mm-hmm. That's the 25 feet?
Yeah, yes.
So it looks like something is actually going over that 25-foot line. What is that?
Just some landscaping.
Okay.
Yeah, the edges of some of their landscaping. This is a little landscape island. They kind of introduced that to kind of help divert some of the traffic, and it also serves as a little traffic island. You can see the pedestrian connection from the walk on Lincoln into the site goes through there, so it kind of serves as a little relief island, if you will, as well. If you don't mind, maybe just a few quick comments.
I have one quick question, just generally on the landscape side of things. Is there a required buffer between the zoning type, the two zoning types that needs to be?
There is.
Okay.
There is. You mean between the commercial
Yeah,
and the
between the
residential?
commercial and the residential on that between that property line area?
There is, and we offer kind of several different options that you can do. A landscape screen is one, fencing is another, has to be a solid type fence. So they're all different options that we offer. You might remember, on the Shoreline Flats project, they had some, existing, wide landscape edges that were already there. So if you had a 20-foot swath of kind of existing vegetation, that can serve as that buffer as well. I'm suggesting having that fence in addition to this, really because my concern with just the proximity of the drive and how the circulation, if we only had the landscaping, I would be afraid there'd be a lot of light that would be able to go through there. So, so you say, well, we'll stack the landscape screen really close to one another. Well, after 5 years, oftentimes that can start to diminish quite a bit.
Yep.
So my concern was there could just be a lot of gaps in there. And just given the proximity of that, I thought it would be nice to have both.
Yeah.
But again, that's a long answer to say
Nope,
we
that's
offer
good.
several different options, and a landscape screen could be one. I just am suggesting we go a little bit
Yeah.
higher here for this project.
Agreed.
Yeah, I appreciate that.
Yeah.
And there, the reason why you see those, the darker trees there, right, the circles, because they're taking out the existing landscape screen that's there and gonna replace it with this.
Yep.
And then this stuff will remain, the existing landscape screen would remain. So, yeah, I would just like to supplement that with a solid
Yeah.
fence along there.
Agreed.
So the fence will go, the fence will go the entire length of.
I'm suggesting that the fence
the
will go that
property line?
entire common property line to provide that screening. The other thing that's kind of happening here that we haven't really talked about yet is you do see there is a large vacant piece of this property to the east. So the plan is that would develop in the future. So that's why this drive that's coming in here, you kind of see this along that property line. So again, Lynn, part of that rationale was that property could also, something could happen on there that, I think it would be appropriate to have that fencing on that piece as well.
Is there a different owner?
So it's the same piece of property.
Okay.
So they would be splitting it for this gas station. The traffic study that was done indicated that, the use that they're kind of anticipating would be a little bit of a self-storage. I know we've had a few of those, but a self-storage use here because it's a low traffic generator. And again, a lot of the concern was being able to get really into this site because of the north-south traffic could actually block that drive and block people trying to get in here, so that if there was any future development, it should be a low traffic generator. So that was actually included in the traffic study, and you saw the transportation department put it as one of their conditions that it would be limited to a self-storage. I suppose it could be something else, but, you know, then we would want to relook at a traffic study again.
Can we require that the full length of the property line be the fencing, have the fencing put in now with this project, or no?
That's what I'm suggesting.
Yeah, okay. And not only is it the lighting, it's also foot traffic, right? Like, you want to protect that neighborhood from anyone who, from cut-through or from anyone trying to get around on foot.
Yeah.
For them
And
to be,
oftentimes landscaping can do that, right? But I just think in this particular case, the addition of the fence would be a good move.
as well as sound. So,
And they did supply the revised lighting plan that meets our requirements. We just got that, so I didn't include it.
I think there was another.
Yep. So maybe
Anything-
just real quickly, we talked a little bit about the rezoning here. So on the left-hand side, that's our master plan. On the right-hand side is our zoning. So you can see right now that entryway isn't zoned commercial. It isn't in the CMU. It's part of the mobile home zoning district. So the request is to rezone that 0.19 acres from the MHR, the mobile home residential, to the CMU, which when you look at the master plan kind of anticipated this. So we actually included that in the CMU, but when we drew the zoning line, we really followed the property line, which, you know, you tend to do to kind of avoid any split zoning if you can. But so really you're being asked to make a recommendation on that rezoning to city council. And again, I would say irregardless, you know, of the gas station, you know, you're making that recommendation. And then making the decision on the site plan and the special land use. So we talked about the fencing, we talked about the lighting. Those were some of the items that I highlighted in the staff report that still needed to be addressed. So we're recommending approval of the special use and the site plan, and a positive recommendation to city council for the rezoning.
thanks, Steve. Any other questions? No? This does require a public hearing on all of these items, the site plan and the request to rezone. So at this time, I will open the public hearing if anyone would like to come forward. And I will close the public hearing. Any other questions, comments, or motions from commission members?
Yeah, I have a couple. Yeah, I don't, I'm not sure about, I feel uncomfortable with the proximity to the mobile home park. There's another gas station a block from this gas station down Lincoln. And then we just approved another come and go just down the road. So I'm concerned about I don't know how many is too many gas stations, but it seems like it's too many. And but my greatest concern is the proximity to the mobile home park. There's just going to be a lot of traffic going in all night long. That morning delivery trucks, I think, are going to be very disruptive to the people who live along that edge. So I'm looking at the special land use guidance, and I think that I'm just not sure that I can say there won't be any detrimental effects. As Steve has written, unforeseen, but I feel like there really could be to the surrounding properties.
Because I can't foresee any residential units going in on this corner either, right? It's an allowable use.
What it would be used for, but
Right.
yeah, it's just-
Any other questions or comments? No? All right. Any motions?
I'll make a motion. I'll make a motion to approve, or recommend approval of the rezoning. So that we'll start with the top one there. 1055 Lincoln Avenue, request to rezone of the 0.2 acres of 1055 Lincoln Avenue from manufactured housing community to corridor mixed use for the driveway to the development of 1033. I recommend that we forward that on as approved for the city council.
Support.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign.
No.
No.
Okay, 2 opposed.
And then I'll make a recommendation to approve the site plan and special land use request for the convenience store and associated vehicle fueling.
Support.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign.
Aye.
Sign.
Just say aye.
Aye.
Okay, 2 opposed. All right. The site plan and the rezoning pass.
The site plan passed and the rezoning will be sent to city council for their consideration, yes.
6-2.
6-2, that's what I have, yep.
All right.
It was clear that it was with staff recommendations of the fence, correct? The approval of the staff.
I guess I assumed that was
Yes.
all of the comments
Okay.
from the
Just
staff.
wanted for the
Yes.
record.
Staff
Yes,
recommendations.
with staff recommendations. My apologies.
All right.
No, but at least get that in.
Thank you for coming in. Communications and petitions, scheduling of public hearings. There are none.
We don't have any.
Communications from commission members. Congratulations for surviving tulip time. Woohoo, great week. Communications from staff.
Just a couple reminders. We've got our study session coming up for the master plan on the 23rd. May 23rd? Yep. So those kind of extra study sessions that we've been doing. We've got, I think this one, we'll be doing some mapping, so future land use mapping. And then followed right after that is the Washington Square open house. So a couple of master plan items to put on your list.
Great. So we'll see you next Tuesday.
Right? The study session is 4 o'clock, yes.
Those other 2 items, the site plan review, you don't want to talk about those under staff?
So we've just been throwing the admin reviews on there for your information. If you want the, I guess if you wanted the details, you can go on our website and look at those. We still plan to give you kind of we've been doing sort of the twice a year update of all of those. So I think July is when we anticipate giving you that. So yeah, I guess we weren't doing those at each meeting, just sort of making sure you were aware of the projects that have come through administratively.
Great, thank you. And motion for adjournment.
So moved.
Support.
All those in favor say aye.
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 Anybody opposed? Nope, I didn't think so. Have a good night.